Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today we are in the garden.
Garden.
Yes, where it's cool and nice. And you know, for me, I just love being outdoors. I love.
All right.
Yeah, so today, guys, family, friends, we're going to talk about how we knew that God sanctioned our relationship, how God confirmed us being together, how God said yes to us getting
Married.
married.
All right. I got that one right, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, and I know you're excited to share
Oh,
the
wow.
story, honey.
Wow. It's a wonderful story.
Look here,
It's a wonderful
God
story.
has moved in every aspect of this relationship. And when we were about asking Him, right?
Yes.
Asking God, when we were about asking God for the confirmation, we saw some things unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you want to stay to hear all of this, all right? Stay, watch the entire video. But in
But
the
meantime,
meantime,
Remember to share
and to like up the video
and subscribe.
yes, and stay with the family. Now, friends, I want to tell you that we put out videos every Sunday and Thursdays, okay? Sundays and Thursdays at 1, okay? Sundays and Thursdays. Just look out for us. Look out for us on Sundays and Thursdays so you can catch the videos. I know that some of you are overly excited and can't wait for us to just send you all these juicy videos. But look out for us, share the love, comment and just ride with us as we seek to encourage you and empower you for the kingdom of God.
Amen. And
Because
look,
that's what we do here.
amen. And look, and when God shows up in your lives, we don't want to keep it. We don't really want to keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to share it so we can impact and we can encourage somebody.
Yeah.
And this is one of the main reasons why we have chosen
Yes. To start.
open
Yeah.
our doors
Yes.
to you.
Yeah.
So that
Invite
we-
you in
Yes.
for you to share with
to
us.
share with us, right?
Yeah.
So we
But
can impact
yes, darling.
lives in a positive way.
Of course, you're on point, boy.
Talk back to me.
But before we go any further, all right, let's take about 3 seconds. We'll be right back. So the first thing that we did was to go on a 7 days fasting and prayer. To be sure, we wanted God to give us that go ahead for each other. I wanted to be clear, and He wanted to be clear as well. But we have to confess that it was one of the most
Gruesome. That's a good word. Gruesome. Yeah, for me it was actually.
one of the most difficult things.
We had to stay away from each other for 7 days.
Yeah.
Something that we, by this time, we weren't used to that anymore, because
We communicate every day.
every single day,
yeah,
right? And
yeah. The text or call.
to take that decision was hard, but we had to do it because at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing is the right thing. So, a little bit of sacrifice has to come into the picture when we, want to make sure that our steps are ordered
By God,
Christ,
yeah, or
right?
we're on the path.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
that's what we did, friends. So we went on the 7 days, but it's like we never really, saw anything to say yes, go ahead. Yeah. But we kept on praying still. One thing, we kept on praying together, and we used to have devotions together, and Friday evenings we used to worship together. Can I tell you? He would be on his hand, and we used to do video call worship. It used to be good. So being apart for 7 days was difficult, and when we finished, we didn't stop. Not because we didn't really see any clear path we kept
For moving forward
yeah,
together, right?
Yeah, we kept on praying.
Right.
Yes,
right,
we
right.
kept on praying and we just kept going still.
And truth be told, it's not that we weren't certain
Yeah.
of where we are with each other in terms of how we felt at the time about
Yeah.
each other. But what we decided that we would not do was not to allow our feelings, to trump what God would have for our lives.
Right, right.
And even though for both of us it felt really, really good, of course, communicating together and all of that day and night, every single day, it felt really good. And so we decided that we want to pull back a little bit and to make sure that we have
Yeah,
God's leading
in all of this.
into all of this, that we decide that we'd want to embark on eventually.
So we pulled back, and one day, right? So now we are in the pear season. So I'm in the hills of St. Andrew, all right? The skirts of the Blue Mountain Range. And it's pear time, as you know, avocado. So some call it pear, some call it avocado, Jamaican avocado. And we had some big avocados, and on that particular tree, it didn't bear a lot. And I saw, some avocados, and I told my brother to go and pick them for me. And he said, okay, all right. So he went, and they were way up, tall tree. So he had to use a bamboo with bag on the end and all of these things. Yes, to get them down. So friends, he brought 6 pears. And I said to him, Vani, how much pear you got? Is it 6? And he said, no, it's 7. And he said, 1 roll away. That's really what happened.
Yeah.
Yes. So friends, I decided to give my dear husband one of the avocados, and gave him one for his friend as well, another friend as well. And I gave about 2 other friends, so that's how much, 4. And, I had another 2.
Right.
So let's get to the meat of the matter.
Oh yes, look, I'm so excited to talk. I was like, all right, when she's gonna allow me to just share this interesting story. And so
Go ahead, darling.
as God would have it in terms of showing up.
Yeah.
She gave me 2 pairs. It was a Sunday afternoon. Yes, and in no particular order, she said that you can give your friend one of the pairs. So of course I was in Woodford, and I came down the afternoon, and I called up my friend, and
You gave him the pear.
and I said to him, look here, your friend, because of course they're good friends as well, send a pair for you. So of course, like I said, there are 2 pairs. And so I just picked up one from the 2 and handed it to him. Now, by Tuesday evening, he called me and he said to me, boy, Marcel, boy, this pear not normal, man. It's sweet, so man. My pear ripe. I done it already, I said, what? My own are ripe yet, boss. My one still green as tough like stone. So I say, oh, I don't understand that, man. By my own ripe, I'm eat it off. I want the next one. So anyway, I called Venetia, and I was telling her that my friend, actually his name is Donaldson, and when I spoke to her, I told her that he told me that the pear was ripe, and he had it, all of it. And she was saying, I said, well, mine is still green. And she said, what you saying to me? I eat off my own, and it was so nice, and I gave away the others that I got, and everybody the pear finished, ripe and finished, and they eat it off.
Enjoy it, yeah.
So I don't understand, Marcel. How comes your one not ripe yet? So I said, I don't know. So she said to me, all right, give it until Sabbath and see what happens now. Allow it until Sabbath and see if it, after 7 days what will happen now. So
Right.
I,
So
I
I
kind
told
of I
him.
kind of chuckled a little and said, okay, all right, we'll see. So I left it. No, by Friday, the pier was still hard as stone. I was like, okay, all right, let me see what happens tomorrow. When I woke up the Sabbath morning and I checked the pear was ripe
Right.
and ready for eating.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I remember she said to me that it was 7 pear that was on the tree, and one of the pears had rolled away. And okay, and then the pear, the one she gave to me, everybody else's pear ripe, and they had it by by the 3rd day, and mine wasn't ripe until the 7th day. So we found it very interesting, and so it's like, what does this mean? But
It's interesting.
yes,
Very
we
interesting.
actually noticed.
7 pairs.
Yes.
7 pairs, and his pear took 7 days to ripe.
Right.
But we look at it and we say, okay, all right, all right, okay then.
So God would have it. Things start to roll. And the same night while we were studying,
So that's a Sabbath night.
Sabbath
so
night.
with the pear,
right,
you had the pear to eat on the Sabbath, and then the same Sabbath night, now we went into a study.
went into a
All
study.
right, yes, darling.
Right, and I remember would have been about 10:30
The night.
the night, and while we were there, I heard a loud noise,
Like a crashing sound.
like a crashing sound, and you remember you even asked me what was that?
What is that? Yeah,
what
because
was
it
it?
was a loud crash.
What's that sound?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not sure, and so I asked her to give me a minute to go and check. But when I went outside in the living room, I did not say anything. So I came back, shrug it off. And I came back and we finished up our studies and we, went to bed. But the following morning, when I went outside, it's like the Spirit said to me, you should, just go into the other room. So I opened the door and went into the other room. And when I went into the other room, there was a clock that I had on the wall for quite some time. It was just there on the wall. And when I looked, it's the clock that had made that crashing sound.
So the clock fell off the wall.
Fell off the wall and just totally, destroyed. But when I look on the clock was saying 7 o'clock. I was like, what the heck? I said, well, this is interesting. The clock was saying 7 o'clock. I was like, wow. So I called her and
Clock was on 7.
I told her about it right away, that the noise that we heard was the clock that I had on the wall, that literally fell off the wall on the ground, and it was saying 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
So-
and that's another 7.
And that's another
right
7.
there. And that's when we started to think seriously, because we're saying, but we did 7 days of prayer and fasting. Then after that, well, the 7 pears, his pear took 7 days to ripe, and then the clock fell off the wall and the hand was on 7. I was like, okay then. But friends, it didn't stop there. So we went out, right?
Our first dinner date, yeah.
Dinner date, darling.
Yeah.
Yes, clearly. And we just decided that we're gonna have something nice, within what we eat. All right? Because we try to eat as clean as possible.
Right.
Right. So, we're sitting down and just enjoying the time together, chatting, and then we decided that we were gonna order right? And in no particular order, we just chose. I think we had rice and maybe some vegetables, broccoli and stuff that we always would choose.
And they had some bread, interesting kind
Yeah,
of
some
bread,
garlic bread, yes,
right.
or something like that.
And,
yeah,
yes.
and we just chose
fish
something.
and coconut sauce, I think we had as well. Yes.
You had
I
fish and
had
coconut
it.
sauce.
Actually, I'd like. Yes.
Yes, and okay, we got our dinner and we just enjoyed the meal, friends. And now it's time to pay.
Right.
So here comes the young lady with the bill. And I know they can guess. Can you all guess how much money the payment, everything came up to?
$7,000.
7. I'm like, no, this is not real. Friends, $7,000. I'm like, what is this money? 7 again. Here it is again.
Yeah.
Yes. And then give them the other part.
Yeah, wow, look here.
Yeah.
And it starts to get even more interesting.
Very interesting.
Because you know that when you go to the restaurant and you would have your meal and it's time for you to pay, as I said, that the lady came and she gave us the bill, and when she gave us the bill and I looked at it, it was $7,000. And usually on that little sauce or whatever you call it, plate,
Yeah.
that where you can place your credit card and all of that, and
Yeah.
with the the 2 sweets that they would usually give you.
Yeah.
I can't recall it giving you more than that.
Yeah.
But
Maybe 2 or 3.
right, but I noticed something interesting happened. She was wearing an apron,
Yeah.
and usually they would come with the bill and the sweets on top of the plate. But this time she went down into her apron and she came up with her hands,
Full.
full of sweets, and placed it on the plate.
Yes.
And when we look, I looked at her. I was like, did you see that? It was 7 sweets.
7 sweets. The lady took out 7 sweets out of her pocket. Normally you would get like a 3 or 4 the most.
She gave us 7 sweets. I was like,
Exactly 7 sweets.
wow.
I'm like, no, Lord.
I said, are you trying to say something to us? Are you trying to say something to us? By this time now we were convinced that God is really trying
Saying
to communicate something.
Yeah, because
to
we
us.
know that 7 is God's perfect number.
Right.
And we know that is why we went on the 7 days, because we're saying we need to hear. We want to hear from God. We want you to talk to us, where our path is supposed to go,
Right.
So we want to be clear. And to see that happen, but friends, it didn't stop there.
I can recall when I was speaking with my friend
Yeah,
one day. I was actually at Maranatha.
yeah.
That's
a restaurant. That's a vegetarian
that,
restaurant.
vegetarian restaurant that I was seeking to get some food. And while I was there parked, I was speaking to my friend, and I was telling him about the story. I was like, some interesting things are happening in terms of these 7s keep popping up. And he said, wow, that is interesting. And while I was there talking to him, the Spirit said to me, Marcel,
Look around.
look to your left.
Lord.
So when I looked to my left, the vehicle was wound up and everything, and I could just see through the glass. But then when I looked to my left, there was a vehicle that was parked, and the license plate of the vehicle, 7s, all 4 7s.
All 7s.
All 7s. I was like, wow. And I said it to him, and he was saying, wow, look man, sometimes when these things you will find situations where you just see them because it's just a part of sometime when you're in a certain mind frame. This is how things usually happen sometimes, which was a reasonable argument. But I know at that point that God
It was more than
was
that.
telling me something seriously. And I told Ven about it, and she was like, honey, wow, wow.
Yeah.
God is really saying something to us. I think this is an endorsement.
Yeah.
And so by that time, we were convinced that God has sanctioned this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying clearly to us that I have placed my favor, and I've given you, you know, my approval
Blessing, yes,
and my and my blessing
you know,
to
for
go
us
forth
to-
in this relationship.
yeah.
And we really started to feel so comfortable by this time, because what I can say to you, us friends here that are listening, is that when you get into anything, whether it be relationship or anything,
Yeah.
and you know that God is in it
Yeah.
with you,
Yeah.
it is a feeling that is beyond, it is so hard to describe how complete and how, you know, satisfied, content in spirit, and how assured
Yeah.
you feel when you know that God is really leading the charge in our decision making. And truth be told, is after that I felt so confident